So just imagine, if you will, this is my GM 12 bolt Chevy truck rear end. Like the later 70s, early 80s, I'm not sure exactly, but it's a regular 12 bolt. It wasn't a posi when I got it. I don't know what gears it had in it, but I completely had it taken apart. I had a posi unit installed from Performance Parts, and I think I had some Yukon equipment in there, and it was a really nice kit. The guy who put it together for me said it was a really nice kit, and he's like, that rear end will handle anything. So, since I'm not going to throw anything at it, I've got a certain thing I'm probably going to be throwing at it, but just pay attention, because later on in the video, this will matter. So the only matter that it makes in the situation is, this is the stock 10 bolt rear end that was in the truck. Not a thing wrong with it. I would drive it anywhere. But I always wanted a 12 bolt. I always wanted a posi. And this is not a posi. It'll burn the tires, slap off of it until I get off the gas pedal. Usually I have to get off the gas pedal. So that's another story. But I got really good tires on this. I got Cooper Cobras all the way around it. They're 65 series tires. So nice and fat. Got them all the way around. But that 12 bolt I just showed you, 12 bolt or the one I'm getting ready to show you, either way, it's replacing this one right here. So just take that into consideration as I tell you about this truck. I just put a new bumper on here. It's not brand new, but it was a whole lot better than the one that came off of it. So that's been put on here. I went and put 2-inch drop shackles. Drop the rear end 2 inches down here. Got good shocks. I'm probably going to replace them here soon, just because this rear end, like I said, is going. It's a really good rear, but it's going in place for that 12 bolt that I built. So when I first got this truck, every while I got around it, I could smell gas. And other people that gotten around it said, why do I smell gas? So I don't know. But apparently these had those plastic belly pans on these gas tanks. When I bought the truck, that gas tank that was on that side, it didn't have a belly tank. So there was no issue. But the belly tank, it held water, it held debris, it held all kinds of stuff till it finally rotted out so bad that it rotted a hole into the bottom of the gas tank. And when I had it on the lift, it was working on the rear end, the front end, which I'll get to. I found that was the problem. So I got new gas tanks, new sending units, new filler tubes and vent tubes. All the rubber that goes from the sending units to the hard metal fuel lines, all brand new. There's 3 different sizes. Check it out. So as you can see, it's got dual exhaust. These are the mufflers. They go out behind the rear tires, which is cool. My truck over there, my white one, that's the way, the same way. Everybody else has got, these Rams got the exhaust coming out behind the bumper. No, mine comes out behind the rear wheels. Really cool looking. It's different. Okay, so let's go around this side. So now we're up to date, except for this is the 15-inch American racing wheels with the Cooper Cobras, 275 60 15s. That's a fat, meaty ass tire right there, boy. All right, let me show you here. Is the shifter I put in, the B&M shifter. And I always got one of those brackets from Summit when I went ahead and did it. And the only thing I got to do is, I made a mistake. I really thought I thought it out well, because I'm that kind of guy, but as you can see how close if you go to shove it up in park, you're pretty much going to knock the fuel tank center switch right on out of the spot. And I don't want to break it. I had to put it back as it was. So we're going to move it back all the way to where this touches the seat. Got to be a perfect friggin' spot, right? So I got to hook up the neutral safety switch and the reverse light. So, and the light switch, that the lights will come on the shifter at night. So there's 3 different things, and that's all up on a switch on the steering column up there. I just haven't got there yet. You know what I mean? Like my retro mats that I found. It's already got a aftermarket steering wheel. Interior's real good. It's got a real good headliner. There's nothing there, but it's really nice. Dash got a couple cracks, but it was covered with this carpet. I did break this little bracket. I had to replace this. But other than that, doesn't look bad. Floor's good. The carpet needs to be replaced. But that's coming. I'm really looking. I almost think that this seat underneath this seat cover, which I've never had off since I've owned this truck, kind of afraid to. It's either going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm going to replace it with that black vinyl, that kit you can get at LMC. Oh yeah. So it is a Silverado. It has the AC. So here in the front, same wheels and tires. I was telling my cousin I wanted to use his shop to put in some ball joints, some tie rods. He says, man, I'll tell you what, if I was you while you're at it, you might as well go ahead and put in new bushings in his upper and upper and lower control arms. I was like, you're kidding me, because I've never done that before. And I kind of always dreaded it. I thought that was something that was like real hard to do. The hardest part is breaking bolts. You know what I mean? It's the hardest part of it all. But so he talked me into polyurethane bushings. He said that was the way to go. And the boy knows a lot of stuff, so I figured, what the hey, I've heard a lot about him. Back in the day, when I was fantasizing about building a car, I was going to put all new poly bushings and everything, you know what I mean? From what I learned back then. So yeah, I'd started to, but then I noticed that the two upper control arms had rust on, actually had a couple holes in each one. And I said, no, I can't do that. So when I ordered an upper control arm, it came with the ball joints in them and everything else, and all I had to do was bolt it into place. It already had bushings and everything. I just said, man, I ain't pushing out no more bearings, out no more of that stuff to get bearings, or bushings, I'm sorry. I ain't pushing out no more partial bearings and, man, just drilling and the hammer and all that crap to get bushings out. So I just went with the top ones. The bottom ones I did take the old bushings out and put in polyurethane. I put in new shocks in there, and I originally had put in a 3-inch drop spring, and I left the spindles alone, and it was real bouncy, friggin' bouncy. Couldn't stand it. So my dumbass, I went ahead and ordered 2.5-inch drop spindles and brand new stock springs, because all I wanted was the 2.5-inch drop springs. I want them to be nice and strong and everything else. So I put them in there recently. Like I said, then it's got all new tie rods, all new ball joints, all that stuff, man. The whole front end's rebuilt, and it's ready to be aligned since I put the spindles on there. Changed things from when I had the springs aligned. But hold on a second. So as you see here, everything's intact. Everything looks good. You know what I mean? Nice stock. Pretty, not bad. It's got one little rust hole over here I noticed the other day, right there. Other than that, so I'm just, when I get this motor out of here, that's the thing. See, this is a good running 350. And it's got the headers on it. See the headers? And you're seeing the exhaust that it attaches to. So you know this sucker's the loudest. And it is. And I can't wait till this cam, I've got a cam, competition cam, set of Edelbrock E Street heads. And I'm getting ready to put it on a really, maybe been putting a Holly on here, but I might just keep it all Edelbrock. It's already got the Edelbrock manifold, the EPS, and little performer manifold. Edelbrock valve covers, Edelbrock air cleaner. I need to get down here and check for some stuff. It kind of worries me. The boy that sold me this truck, he lied to me a couple times. Things that you don't find out till later. And the other than making a big deal out of it. But you know, when somebody lies to you, sometimes you're like, hey, I don't know, you know, do you trust anything he told you? So I was told this was a 350, and it seems like it's a 350, but it was originally a 305. And he told me that the owner that had it before he got it, because he didn't have it long, had put a 350 in it, and it was supposed to be a 350. I'm gonna tell you today, I'm gonna look further into it. I'm gonna make sure, because if this ain't a 350, That changes so many things for this truck. I mean, luckily, like right now, I'm trying to make it to Ocean City in October. And the way it's sitting, if I can get it done, yeah. But if I start to pull this sucker apart, you know, I'm a month and a half, I can get this done before October. I think it's like the mid-October anyway, so all it's gonna do, the boy's gonna help me with it, is gonna pull the motor, put a new cam in it, put new heads on it. You know, everything's gonna be flipped around. We're gonna change the oil pan, gasket, just because we want to put in a new oil pump, new screen. So that's gonna be good too. So it's gonna batten it all down. As long as it's a 350, I'm happy with it, because it can go on a stock body, man. I'm not doing much to it, but giving a little more airflow. So that's what we're hoping to do. He's gonna pull it. He said he can pull it and have it done in hardly no time. That'll pretty much be what he does at his shop at Willie's Customs in Inwood, West Virginia. So we're gonna yank that. We're gonna do all put the new heads, new cam, and like I said, it runs right now really good. It's loud, except for the heads. The whole start of this whole crap was the heads. So I was telling my cousin. I told him, I said, boy, my valve seals are burning up pretty good. So when this thing sits here for a little while and I start up, this smokes. It's oil, you know, it's the valve seals. He said, at that price and taking all the trouble, so you might as well find yourself another set of heads. And he was telling me, while you're at it, if you get a new set of heads, you're gonna need a cam. You listen to these people, don't you? You get drawn into it just like I do. Like I said, you're gonna need to put a cam in there, competition cam, and a couple things that he used to run. He told me about them, so I'm threw them in the truck too. Like I said, that's what's going in here. But he said, while you're at it, he said, I'm telling you, because my transmission in his truck, this is where another one of those lies came from. The old boy, I wasn't paying a whole much attention. It seemed to me like, it's okay, maybe it just needs to be adjusted out or something. But I liked the truck and it was all cool. Just, you know, I wanted this truck regardless of the lies. But when I was telling my cousin about me, the guy told me that, and I even wrote in it that it was from first to second, it just took a while. You know what I mean? It just hung out in first gear a little bit longer before it shifted, and I was taking that crap in, and it wound up after I figured out what's happening, that it had no second gear. It was going first to third, and then it would drop into overdrive because it has a 700R. So I had this transmission completely rebuilt. We put a lot of good hardware in there. I know I got a Corvette servo. Everything's tough. He put a B&M shift kit in it. When I tell you I hit second gear with this 12 volt that's going to be in here, and with these heads and stuff, it's going to be sick. Right now I can just burn them down, and this transmission is pretty nice. We put a 200 stall converter in it, just a little bit more than normal, because like I said, we're not punching a whole lot of horsepower at this motor. There's going to be some. It's like that transmission, the way the guy built it, it could hold up to a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? And this little 300 horsepower, I don't know, man. Who knows? It ain't gonna hurt that. And that's why I built the rear. I built the most hardcore rear end that you can get your hands on right now for a decent price. You know? So that with the lowering and everything else on it, that's what we got going on with this truck. You know that stance is disgusting. 2 in the rear, 2.5 in the front. You know, this truck's gonna ride real well, and I'm telling you, my boy's gonna get this motor right, and it's coming shortly. And I'm getting ready. I'm tried everything I had to get them U-bolts off that rear end. Start pulling that rear out. Can't budge them, so I ordered new U-bolts. LMC, thanks a whole lot. They usually give me some pretty good stuff. I got a set of bed bolts over there for the truck. I'm gonna put the bed back on it. That's an overview of my 1986 Chevrolet pick 'em up truck. Hope you like the video.